I'm doing a review of the 2019 Darton Spectra E. I want to try to give everybody a little view of what the new bow is. Kind of the same thing as 2018 with some nice comfort adjustments. They made an adjustment to the grip, which I really like. They changed the cable rod, which was another nice feature. They went to a straight rod. You know, I think this is a very underestimated bow, and I wanted people to see it. It's got pretty decent speeds, really great hunting bow. I shoot a Maverick XT for 3D. That's got a little more speed where I need it. Hunting, I really don't need the speed. I shoot a heavy arrow, and I just want a forgiving bow. So I'll kind of gonna go through speed test, paper tuning, arrow weights, and throw it on the draw board so you guys can give you a little background. The Spectra E's got a yoke system, so it kind of equalizes out, so you have almost zero camling. It's got cable stops, and it's limb driven or limb stopped also. I don't use limb stop. This thing's all the way back. I'm gonna take it off, but right now I'm shooting the AE Prophecy on the bow. Cable driven. I do like limb driven a lot also, but the reason I'm using the cable driven, I'm going on moose hunt. I want the arrow to be contained as much as possible, so it's not rattling around when I'm going after the moose on a stalk. So I'm gonna throw this on the draw board first. Get you guys some numbers. I'm shooting 29.5-inch draw. I ordered this thing at 60 pounds. I think it's coming in right around 60. Right now as I dropped the bow, right now the bow is timed where the top is hitting a hair first before the bottom, which doesn't bother me. Later on, the paper tuning is just a start. I learned this. I was just one of those freak tuners, but later on, I'll go outside. I'll tune the snot out of it when my new sight comes in. So let's start by throwing on a draw board, show you what I got, and then we'll go from there. We're gonna put it through paper, and we'll throw it in the chrono also. 61.3 pounds, which is perfect. I'll take that all day long for specs. The bow is 32 5/8 with a 6-inch brace height. So top cam's hitting a little before. Right now you can see it is 61.3 and a 29.5-inch draw. Then we're going to go. We'll shoot a couple through paper. The top cam, when it comes around the cable stop, you want to make sure it makes clean contact with the cable at all times, because if you yoke tune it, it's going to move it, and you want to make sure that it's making clean contact with that. So if you're like me and you're trying to pull through the wall like the Hulk, and if you do that, you have a tendency to have a blow right past the cable stops. I've seen it done on other bows too. But bottom makes a lot better contact. You'll be able to see that. So I try to yoke tune the bottom a little more. Had a great result with that so far. Like I said to you too, paper tune is just the beginning. I'll go outside, I'll walk back tune, and then from there I'm gonna broadhead tune and just make sure everything's good. So let's start off. We're gonna run it through some paper. First two shots are gonna be one shot I'll do through probably, I'm gonna say 3-4 yards, and then I'll step back, and then I'll step back again. That's about 4 yards. As you can tell, it's got a tiny bit knock left, which for me, surprisingly, everything tunes way better that way if I can get it to go that way. So then this one I'll step back probably about 12 yards. As you can tell, again, a really nice clean tear. Now what we'll do is I'm going to go and put you guys right on the bench while I grab those arrows, so just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to grab those arrows, we're going to weigh them. Those arrows are my hunting arrows. Those are Black Eagle Spartans. Really like those arrows. They hit hard, they last long. I mean, unfortunately I've hit some deer in the shoulder, and I kind of blew through a couple shoulders, which is great. So what I'm going to do is I'll weigh them. Those are 477 grains. I got a few arrows here that were my kind of leftovers throughout the years. Those are all different weights and grains, so we'll get those so you guys can kind of get a justice of what you like for your arrow. Shoot a heavy arrow if you're hunting. So chrono is all set up. Let's go through this. Let's make sure you guys can see that. What I'll do is I'll bring you in. I'll let you see every single one. But so we'll start off. Nothing on it. So block. So a tar. $476. Let's see if you can see that. Let's bring it right in. 476 grains. That's the Black Eagle Spartan that I shoot for hunting. Don't mind me, I'm sorry. If you guys are on a tripod, I have to take you off. That's one we'll shoot first. Next, what we'll shoot is, we'll shoot the Carbon Express, which is 413 grains. Take a look at that, 413 grains. Hopefully you see that. I don't want you to think I'm lying to you. Next one is a Victory, which is 380 grains. Again, hopefully you can see all this. I'm just doing it from the phone because my wife's upstairs. She's not feeling well, and she usually yells at me. But here's a 376 grain gold tip. So that's the lightest I got. If someone really needs me to actually go and get them different weights, I can take some point weight out and go to a smaller point weight if you need be. I can try to help you out with that. So let's take a look at this. We're gonna shoot through the chrono, and let's see if we can turn this and down there. Everybody see that? Alright, so you're probably reading it backwards, but let's just try to figure it out together. 291 was one of the arrows before. So first up is the Black Eagle Spartan. That's the arrow. That is 470, I think it was 8 grains or 77 grains. So that's the slowest speed I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm going to take a wild guess that it had just a flicker of a moment. Let's try that again. Another Black Eagle Spartan, same thing. That's more like it. 262 feet per second, 60-pound bow, 29.5-inch draw, and that was 477 grains. So I'm gonna grab the next arrow. I'll wait just to make sure I'm on the right grains, and we'll go from there. Next arrow is Carbon Express, 413 grains, 412 grains, kind of in that area. $271 feet per second, which is pretty good. I'll take that all day long. Next arrow is the Victory at 390 grains. That's 287 7 feet per second, which is pretty good. Got a gold tip, which is at 376 grains. We'll shoot that through. Going to 90 feet per second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 seconds. You guys can watch while I grab the arrows so you don't think I'm doing anything crazy. I'm going to grab one of those arrows. I'm going to put a lighter point in it, kind of get you closer to an IBO, and then we can... Alright, so got a nice little point in there. That's for the 3D bow, but we are at 340 grains. I'll let you guys see that so you don't question it. But 340 grains. Let's shoot that through some paper, or actually through chrono. So just want to give you guys an idea of if you're shooting whatever setup you're doing. If you're shooting for IBOs, if you're shooting for hunting, again, shoot a heavier arrow, trust me. So that's 303 feet per second. And then last thing I'm going to do is, as we're dancing around and it feels like we're doing a twirl in a ballet or a ballroom, I'm going to let you guys see how smooth this thing is. I really like this bow. I had one last year, and I chopped it out of a tree in Canada when I was hunting trophy whitetails. And so I broke the stabilizer mount right out of it, and what I did was I kind of gave that to my wife, and she really likes that bow. And what I'm going to do is, as you can see that in the background, yeah, somebody actually was working in my house, and they decided they were going to dry fire my wife's bow for unfortunate reasons. They thought they could do that, and as we all know, that shreds anything to pieces, and they just destroyed that bow. So I got her a whole new setup coming now, cams, strings, everything. But once you see this, really like this bow, smooth, forgiving. If you want something that's a little different, give Darton a shout. I highly recommend it. I'm not getting paid for them. I don't get anything special. I'm just trying to give everybody feedback on something that's I feel is a good company and a good setup. So here's a little kind of a show of the draw cycle. Like I said, it's 60 pounds. I can pull back 80, 70, it doesn't matter. I shoot 60 because it's more comfortable. I hunt in negative 20 degrees, and I'd rather feel more comfortable than try to struggle for the extra speed. Here's 2019 Darton Spectra E with AE Prophecy, AEP bars, and really like it. Got bloodline fiber strings on it.